In the heart of the Czech Republic, surrounded by dense forests and silence, stands a castle like no other, Houska Castle. It isn't built near a river or a city. It guards no trade route, no treasure, no kingdom. It stands alone, like it was never meant to be found. Historians have always questioned its purpose. There are no water sources nearby, no real fortifications. The windows are fake, just painted outlines. And the walls? They're built to keep things in, not out. But the legend explains everything. Hundreds of years ago, people spoke of a massive pit, a deep, endless hole in the ground where strange creatures crawled out at night. Locals believed it was a gateway to hell. Houska Castle was built directly over this pit, not to protect from outside enemies, but to trap something below. This is the story of the most haunted place in Europe, a castle built to hold back darkness itself. Before the castle existed, locals avoided the area. Animals refused to go near it. Birds wouldn't fly above. In the center was a giant hole, wide, dark, and bottomless. Some claim they saw a winged beast crawl out. Others heard screaming echoing from below. People believed it was a passage to the underworld, where demons came to the surface. In the 13th century, the king ordered a group of monks and builders to seal it. But they didn't just cover it with stone. They built an entire castle on top of it. At the center, they placed a chapel directly over the hole. The monks prayed day and night, hoping to keep the evil inside. But even then, people said it wasn't enough. One terrifying legend tells of a prisoner offered a deal: be lowered into the hole, and if you survive, you go free. After just seconds below, he screamed. When they pulled him up, his hair had turned white. His face had aged years, and he was no longer sane. Whatever he saw down there, it wasn't meant for human eyes. The most important part of Houska Castle is not a tower or gate. It's the Chapel of St. Michael, built directly above the pit. This chapel is no ordinary place of worship. It was designed as a spiritual seal, with sacred symbols carved into every wall. The floor beneath it was once open, exposing the hole. Monks would pray constantly over it, trying to keep the darkness below. Inside, the murals are strange. One painting shows a half-human creature holding a bow in its left hand, a rare and ominous sign in Christian art. Another image shows a figure being stabbed by a spear, not in a holy light, but surrounded by flames. Some believe these paintings aren't just religious messages. They're warnings. Today, the floor is sealed with thick stone, but visitors say they still feel something beneath them, something old, something watching. Some feel dizzy. Some hear whispers. And some, even with the stone in place, claim they've heard scratching from under the floor, as if something is still trying to get out. One of the earliest and most terrifying tales from Houska Castle is the story of a prisoner, a man no one remembers by name, only by what happened to him. When the castle was being built, the king wanted to know what lay inside the pit, but no one dared to go near it. Finally, a condemned prisoner was offered freedom. "Let us lower you into the hole. Tell us what you see, and you go free." He agreed. Tied with a rope, the man was slowly lowered into the darkness. At first, all was silent. Then came the screams. Not just cries of fear, but howling, guttural, and human screams. The men pulled the rope up in panic. When they brought him back to the surface, what they saw chilled them forever. The prisoner was shaking violently. His hair had turned pure white. His face looked decades older. He clutched at his chest and cried. The creatures, the wings, the teeth. He died days later, never fully awake, never fully sane. Since then, no one else has dared to enter the hole. Castles are normally built to defend, strong walls, tall towers, windows for archers, moats to keep invaders out. But Houska Castle is different. Its windows are fake, painted onto the walls. Its battlements point inward, not outward. And it's located in the middle of nowhere, with no access to trade, water, or roads. Architects say it makes no sense, unless you understand its true purpose. It was built to contain something. Every stone was placed to trap, not to protect. Every hallway leads back toward the center. The castle is like a cage, with the pit at its heart. One of the towers has no door to the outside. It's just a stone shaft leading straight down, and no one knows how far. Why would anyone build such a thing? Unless the builders were trying to keep something from escaping. Over time, they added crosses, sacred symbols, even iron bars. But the fear never left. Even the people who lived in the castle refused to stay near the chapel, because they knew something is sealed inside this place, and stone alone may not be enough to hold it. During World War II, Houska Castle was occupied by the Nazis, but they didn't use it as a base or a lookout. Instead, they closed the castle to outsiders and began secret experiments. Locals were forbidden to enter. Armed guards patrolled the grounds. At night, strange lights glowed from the chapel. Whispers of occult rituals and dark science spread through nearby villages. After the war, investigators found strange burn marks on the stone floors, symbols etched into the walls, and a strange metallic smell in the air. Some believe the Nazis were trying to unseal the pit. Others say they attempted to harness its power, to reach into other dimensions, or open gateways to the underworld. No official records exist, but one former soldier confessed before his death. He claimed they summoned something inside the chapel, and it never left. Visitors today report strange cold spots in the old Nazi rooms. Some feel watched. Some hear whispers in German. Others say they've seen shadowy figures in uniforms, standing perfectly still, then vanishing. Whatever they awakened in that dark time, it may still be watching, waiting. Even after the pit was sealed, something beneath Houska Castle still speaks. Visitors have reported hearing whispers, faint voices speaking in unknown languages. Sometimes the sounds echo in the chapel. Other times, they come from under the floor. At night, the whispers grow louder, more urgent. One priest who came to bless the site refused to enter the chapel. He said, "There are things inside that know my name." He left that same night, pale, trembling, and silent. Paranormal teams have placed microphones in the chapel. What they recorded was chilling, low chanting, soft crying, and at one point laughter. Not human laughter. A tourist once placed his ear to the chapel floor as a joke. Moments later, he screamed and fell backward. He said something whispered directly into his mind, a message he could never forget. He wouldn't repeat what he heard, only that it was in my thoughts, and it was old. Whatever lies under Houska may be asleep, but it is not silent, and sometimes it speaks. Some people who entered Houska Castle were never seen again. In the 1990s, a group of students visited the castle to shoot a documentary. They arrived with equipment, interviewed locals, and stayed the night. The next morning, they were gone. Their car remained parked outside. Their belongings were untouched, but they vanished without a trace. Police found footage left behind in a video camera. Most of it was normal students laughing, exploring rooms. But the last clip showed the chapel. The camera shakes. One of them says, "Did you hear that?" Then static. The tape ends. Another case involved a writer working on a book about haunted places. He checked into a nearby inn and told staff he would return by sunset. He never did. His journal was later found inside the castle. The last words read, "I thought I was alone. I was wrong." Search teams have combed the area. Dogs refuse to go near certain rooms. Compasses spin near the chapel. Some doors are found open that were locked the day before. Whatever lives inside this place doesn't just haunt. It takes. Many who visit Houska speak of being watched. They turn corners and see no one, but they feel it, something standing just out of sight, something intelligent. Some see a figure in black robes at the edge of their vision. Others describe a tall, faceless shadow that appears in mirrors, but not in the room itself. A man once spent the night alone with a thermal camera. At 3:08 a.m., the device recorded a large, cold mass moving through the hallway. It had no form, no temperature, but it moved with purpose. When the man reviewed the footage, he noticed something even more disturbing. In every frame, the shadow was getting closer. Some believe it is the castle's guardian, or perhaps its prisoner. Others say it is the spirit of someone consumed by the pit, now forever wandering the halls. One thing is certain, you don't need to see it to feel it. It watches you from the cracks, and sometimes it follows you home. When Houska Castle was first built, monks were assigned to live there. Their mission was not to serve a king or bless the people. It was to pray above the pit, day and night, without rest. They believed constant devotion would keep the darkness below sealed. But something changed. One by one, the monks began to act strangely. Some refused to speak. Some wrote symbols on the walls. One was found in the chapel, staring into the pit for hours, whispering names that didn't belong to anyone alive. Eventually, they were all removed. The chapel was sealed. But to this day, the monks may not be gone. Visitors report seeing hooded figures in the corners of rooms, unmoving, watching. In photographs, shadows appear where no one stood. Some say they hear the low hum of voices chanting in Latin, even when the castle is silent. They are no longer human, no longer praying for salvation. They are still here, standing watch. Or perhaps, still guarding the gate. She appears just before midnight. Drifting through the halls of Houska Castle is the woman in white, a ghost said to be both beautiful and broken. She wears a long white gown that flows like mist behind her. Her face is pale, with sunken eyes that seem to search for something lost long ago. No one knows who she was. Some say she was a noblewoman imprisoned in the castle for discovering the truth about the pit. Others believe she was a sacrifice, thrown into the hole to silence the voices below. But she didn't stay gone. She walks silently, floating just above the ground. Her presence is always followed by sudden cold, flickering lights, and distant weeping. One tourist followed her, thinking she was part of the tour. But when he turned the corner, she was gone. Only a wet footprint remained on the stone. Some believe she guards a secret hidden deep inside the walls. Others think she's still trapped in a moment of pain, forced to relive it over and over. She won't speak, but if she ever looks you in the eyes, you may carry her sadness with you forever. There is a room in Houska Castle where time does not move normally. No signs mark it. No warnings are given. But those who enter know something is wrong. One man entered in the afternoon to take photos. He felt strange, like the air was thick and hard to breathe. When he walked out, the sun was gone. Hours had passed, though his watch said only 5 minutes. Another woman stepped into the room and instantly forgot why she was there. Her voice recorder picked up something her ears never heard, a whisper saying, "You don't belong here." When she left, her memories of that room were jumbled, as if they belonged to someone else. Some say the room sits directly above the pit, where time and space are weakest. Others believe it's not a room at all, but a crack, a bleeding wound between worlds. The walls bend slightly, as if the castle itself is breathing. Shadows move against the grain of light. And sometimes, people leave the room with different thoughts, different dreams, even different eyes. Locked in a glass case, deep within the castle's archive room, is a leather-bound manuscript. There is no title on its cover. The pages are worn, written in a language no one can translate. Some of the symbols appear to move when you're not looking. Others seem to shimmer under certain light, as if alive. Locals call it the Book of Houska. It was found beneath the chapel floor, wrapped in cloth, bound in iron, and sealed with wax. No one knows who wrote it. The drawings inside showed disturbing images, winged beasts, people kneeling in blood, a dark pit surrounded by flames. Scholars try to study it, but the man who spent the most time with it left suddenly, abandoning his work. He later claimed that the book spoke to him in dreams, revealing memories that weren't his. One line was eventually translated. "It is not written for the eyes. It is written for the soul that remembers." Some believe it contains rituals to close the pit. Others fear it holds instructions to open it. But most agree, the book should never be read aloud. Night after night, castle staff report seeing a shadow standing just outside the chapel door. It doesn't move. It doesn't speak. But it watches. Some describe it as tall, with impossibly long arms. Others say it has no shape at all, just a thick, dark stain in the air. It appears only after sunset, just as the wind outside falls silent. One guard tried to approach it. As he stepped forward, the temperature dropped. His flashlight died, and the door behind him slammed shut on its own. The shadow remained, closer than before. When he opened his eyes, it was gone. But the next morning, deep scratch marks were found on the stone where it stood. Tourists have seen it reflected in glass, even when no one else was there. A child once pointed at it and said, "That man is sad." But this is no man. Some say it is the pit's guardian, bound by the original monks to stand watch forever. Others believe it's something that escaped, waiting for the door to open again. Whatever it is, the staff has one rule: never open the chapel at night. People still visit Houska Castle today. They come for the history, the mystery, the thrill. Some leave with photographs, others with memories they wish they could erase. One visitor wrote in the guest book, "I came to see the castle. The castle saw me." Tour guides tell the legends with a smile, but their eyes avoid the chapel. Locals still won't walk the forest trails nearby. Animals grow restless near the southern wall. And phones, even modern ones, often stop working near the pit. Not every legend is just a story. Houska was not built to impress. It wasn't meant to protect. It was constructed with urgency, fear, and desperation. Because centuries ago, someone or something opened a door to the wrong place. And though the pit is sealed, the air around it still pulses. The shadows still shift. The whispers still rise at night. Some say the real horror isn't what escaped. It's what's still trapped inside, angry and waiting. In 2016, a group of paranormal investigators was given rare overnight access to Houska Castle. They brought high-end cameras, thermal imaging, sound equipment, all in hopes of capturing proof. They expected strange noises, flickering lights, maybe even a ghostly voice. They didn't expect movement from beneath the floor. At exactly 3:33 a.m., one camera positioned in the chapel shook violently. The stone floor emitted a deep, low rumble, like a heartbeat echoing through the walls. One investigator fell to his knees, grabbing his chest. He said it felt like something under the floor was breathing. Their audio recorders picked up something else, a dragging sound as if claws scraped across stone, followed by a soft whisper. Not yet. They left immediately. Days later, one of them reported hearing the same voice in his apartment, whispering from inside his closet. Experts reviewed the footage. They couldn't explain the sound. They couldn't explain the pressure wave. And the scratches on the floor, captured by thermal cameras, appeared hot, as if something had pressed up from beneath. Whatever lies below Houska is not gone. It is alive, and it remembers. In the end, Houska Castle is not just a haunted building. It is a warning. Its walls weren't made for beauty. Its halls were not built for kings. Everything from the false windows to the sealed chapel was made for one purpose: containment. Long ago, someone discovered a wound in the earth, a thin place between worlds. Instead of running, they tried to trap it. They built stone over evil. They sang prayers over silence. They gave it a name, thinking names bring control. But control was never the goal. Survival was. And though centuries have passed, the signs remain. Animals still fear the land. The walls still whisper. And those who come too close don't always leave the same. Some doors, once opened, can never truly be closed. Houska Castle stands not as a fortress, but as a bandage over a deep, bleeding wound. So when you walk those empty halls and feel a presence you can't explain, don't ask what it is. Ask what it's waiting for. Because the castle is still holding it back. And one day, it might not be enough.